Welcome back to Whisky Whims with me, Stuart. Today we've got Glen Scotia Double Cask. It's a supermarket whisky that I have done a video on previously. I've not actually reviewed the whisky, but I've done a blind tasting of several supermarket whiskies, and this one came out on top. So I've had some more out of it, not as much as I thought I would have. So we'll get down to the review and see if it's still as enjoyable as it was when I had previously done the lineup. It's 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and it cost about £35 when I first bought it. I think it's going for about £40 now in the supermarkets. So on the nose, yeah, it's quite chocolatey on the nose. The peat isn't really evident on the nose at all. I'm just trying to see. It says this has been matured in Pedro Jimenez casks, which is surprising. I wonder what so it's just bourbon and Pedro Jimenez. Oh yeah, it says it on the front. I thought it would have just been Oloroso, but yeah, it's definitely chocolatey. There's an Empire biscuit smell to it. That kind of icing, shortbread with a little bit of jam inside. Just trying to describe an Empire biscuit. It's the whole compilation of the Empire biscuit on the nose. So it is quite a sweet nose. It's actually a little punchy, a little spirity as well. It's not as refined as other whiskies, maybe because of the age, and maybe just because you can buy it in a supermarket. It's just quite I don't want to say average, but it's maybe a little bit cheaper than other whiskies and doesn't perform as much, but it's not a bad whiskey. It's just a little alcoholic on the nose, a little spirity. There's not much spice to the nose. I'm just reading the back as I'm speaking. It says rich spicy fruits overlaid with the characteristic sea spray and vanilla oak finish of the House of Glen Scotia. I'm not really getting any maritime feel to it in the nose, and I don't think it's that spicy, but it's definitely sweet. Maybe a little bit creamy. Yeah, possibly. There's that chocolate's now evolving into a more bitter scent, like more of a. I think initially it was quite milky, like quite a milk chocolate rather than a dark chocolate, but now it's evolving in the glass to a more bitter experience. Yeah, it's a nice nose, nice enough nose, especially for the price. You don't really feel hard done by. Like I said, I only bought this for £35. I think for a supermarket whiskey and for the price of this whiskey, it kind of outperforms its rivals, and that was evident through my blind tasting. The palate. Lovely, lovely oily mouthfeel, a little bit of a nip from the alcohol, but I don't know if you can hear Jura's paws pitter pattern. He's walking about the place. Yeah, a little nip from the alcohol, but nothing too discouraging, nothing that would dissuade you from drinking it. There's quite a creamy, I want to say creme fraiche, something like that on the palate. I'm trying to think what that taste is. Yeah, there's like olive oil there. I'm imagining like a kind of Mediterranean theme. It is a little bit coastal now in the palate, a little bit saline, a little bit of salt. There's definitely peat there. It's peated in the palate, but not so much in the nose. There's also a little bit of a spice, a little bit of peppercorn, possibly some creamy fudge. Yeah, a little sweetness, but it's more in the palate. I feel it's more towards the bitter, the coastal, the salty, the peaty, kind of that side of things rather than sweet, whereas the nose is a complete contrast of that. The nose is sweeter, it's not as coastal, it's not as spicy, but the palate's nice and warm and quite an enjoyable palate for me. I've been dipping my toes back into peat, and this might be one that I reach for more often, try and actually finish the bottle. It's just one that sits in the barrel that I don't go for because I end up forgetting about it. Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything else on it. Possibly like there's like a winey element to it, like a white wine taste to it. I feel it's quite drying, which I also believe is evident of white wine. The finish is medium. It's carrying with a nice creamy peatiness, or it's carried with a creamy peatiness. There's not really much going on in the finish. There's like an everlasting, well, not an everlasting, but there's a bit of a lasting kind of tannins, oakiness to the finish. A little disappointing in the finish. I can't remember if I said that in the initial lineup when I done the blind testing of the supermarket whiskies. I might have, I might not have, but I feel like it's a little lacking in the finish. That might just be because of what I've been drinking recently, but yeah, a little bit tamer in the finish, but still the mouthfeel kind of raises the bar with this whiskey, and that's what stood it out for me against the other supermarket whiskies. So we'll get down to the review. We'll see if it's a whiskey win or a whiskey bin. If you're new here, how I rate my whiskies is on 3 factors. Would I buy it again? Do I think it's worth it? And would I recommend it? If we get 1 out of 3, it's a whiskey bin. Sorry, I just barked. If we get 2 out of 3, it's a whiskey win. So would I buy it again? I don't think I would. There's just too many other whiskies that I want to explore, and I think I'm at a point where I was gonna say where I don't need to buy supermarket whiskies anymore. Like I've kind of evolved. I've went past that point, but I still think it's good to go back and taste these initial offerings to see what the market's benchmark is. But yeah, I don't think I would buy this again. I think I've just outgrown it. In the sense that it's enjoyable, but it's not what I'm looking for. Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, I think it's a great supermarket whiskey. I think it's a good price. £35. I might be outdated with £35. It might be up to 40, 45, but I hope not, because it's a solid dram. I think they've rebranded it since this bottle, so I've not tasted that. But anyway, definitely solid. I was going to see if there's a stamp on it, a date stamp. So I think it's worth the money. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I think you should try it. If you've not tried this Double Cask Expression from Glen Scotia, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised. If you've seen it in the supermarket, you've been walking by it thinking, oh, it's just a supermarket whiskey, or oh, I don't like Glen Scotia, I prefer Springbank or something of the likes, this might just surprise you that little bit. So yeah, it's a whiskey win. Thanks for watching. I've been Stuart, this has been Whisky Wins. I'll see you later.